You stand in the dark. Sirens scream over Tehran. The sky burns red from another American strike. You do not look up. You look at a screen showing $3 million moving through the dark web. Level 1. You breathe in the dust of a ruined city. It is March 2026. Operation Epic Fury is tearing the sky apart. American stealth bombers drop penetrating munitions on military sites. Israeli fighter jets strike the command centers. The government is fracturing. The supreme leader is dead. You do not care about the politics. You care about the numbers. You are a fintech engineer. 2 years ago, you worked at a normal commercial bank. You had a desk. You had a pension. You had a quiet life. Then the rial collapsed. The United States renewed its maximum pressure sanctions. The currency dropped to 1.7 million reals to a single US dollar. Hyperinflation wiped out your savings in a week. A loaf of sengek bread went to 7,600 tomans. Red meat became a myth. Your mother got sick. She has multiple sclerosis. The global banking system cut ties with Iran. Foreign financial institutions feared secondary sanctions. They blocked the humanitarian channels. The hospitals ran out of drugs. You went to the Neza Khosrow black market. The smugglers wanted hard currency. You had none. You wrote a script. You built a piece of code that automated cross-chain cryptocurrency swaps. It bypassed traditional banking compliance. You just wanted to skim enough from international transfers to buy your mother's medicine. You left a digital footprint. They found you. Men from the intelligence ministry with cheap suits and expensive guns arrived at your door. They did not arrest you. They offered you a chair. You took it. Now you work for the shadow banking network. You sit in a basement server room. You route Tether stablecoins through the Tron blockchain. You bypass the Office of Foreign Assets Control. You settle payments for the shadow fleet. A rusty oil tanker turns off its automatic identification system in the Persian Gulf. It goes dark. It flag hops to a fraudulent registry in Barbados. It transfers crude oil to another ship off the coast of Malaysia. They forge the documents. They call it Malaysian Blend. China buys it at a massive discount. You process the payment in crypto. You run the money through digital mixers to break the chain of custody. The money is massive. Millions flow through your fingertips every hour. You get your cut. You buy the medicine. You buy the bread. The big money starts. You hide stacks of physical dollars in a metal safe under the floorboards. You tell your wife you are working night shifts managing a data center. She believes you. You do not look her in the eye. Level 2. You meet the others. The underground economy has its own ecosystem. You work with a man named Majid. He operates the Hawala network. He runs shell companies in Hong Kong and the United Arab Emirates. He moves debt across borders without moving cash. An importer in Tehran gives him reals. A broker in Dubai pays the supplier in dirhams. Majid balances the ledger using passwords and trust. He launders the oil money into usable capital. Majid is quiet. He feeds stray dogs in the alley behind the server room. He brings them scraps of meat he can barely afford. He sits on the pavement and strokes their heads. He is saving money for his daughter. She needs a kidney transplant. The hospitals lack basic anesthetics and surgical supplies. He shows you her picture on his phone. She has bright eyes. He cries when he talks about her. You see his humanity. He is just a father trying to survive a collapsed state. Then the screen blinks. A priority order comes in from the Ministry of Defense. They need immediate liquidity to procure guidance sensors for Shahed 136 drones. The supply chain is blocked. You have to reroute funds from a humanitarian channel. The channel was supposed to pay for a shipment of cross-flow filtration systems and gamma imaging equipment for the cancer wards. You execute the swap. The drone parts are funded. The medical shipment is cancelled. 3 days later, you walk past the hospital. You see a family weeping on the steps. An innocent person died because the machines shut down. You made that happen. You do not stop walking. You buy a coffee. You drink it. You accept what you are. Level 3. The war escalates. The internet goes dark. The government initiates the Great Silence. They sever the National Information Network. Mobile networks are dead. Fixed lines are cut. You operate on a dedicated state satellite uplink. The isolation breaks your mind. You suffer profound psychological deformation. You do not sleep. You lie in bed and listen for the hum of loitering munitions. You scan the exits every time you enter a room. You measure the distance to the door. You memorize the blind spots of CCTV cameras. A phone rings in a cafe and you flinch. You drop your cup. You expect a missile strike. You expect a raid. You expect the men in cheap suits to decide you know too much. The paranoia fractures your reality. You snap at your wife. You lock the doors twice. You check the floorboards 4 times a night. Your wife finds the dollars. She sees the stacks of $100 bills wrapped in plastic. She asks where they came from. You lie. You tell her it is a bonus from the bank. She knows you are lying. She sees the dead look in your eyes. She takes her bags. She leaves. Your personal life is destroyed. You do not stop her. It is safer for her to be far away from you. You sit alone in an empty apartment. The power grid fails. The city goes black. You sit in the dark and wait for the servers to reboot. Activists smuggle Starlink terminals across the border. They set up mesh networks. They broadcast footage of the protests and the massacres. You watch the videos on a secure terminal. You see bodies in the streets. You route another $1 million to the security forces. You are a ghost haunting your own life. Level 4. A new kid arrives at the basement. He is 22 years old. He wears a counterfeit designer shirt. He types faster than you. He knows how to automate peer-to-peer transfers using artificial intelligence. He utilizes decentralized exchanges perfectly. He does not ask what the money buys. He does not care about the shadow fleet or the drone parts. He just wants his cut. You watch him code. You see your replacement. You realize you are expendable. You are a liability. You know the wallet addresses. You know the front companies in Dubai. You know the names of the hawaladars. You know how the central bank launders money through medical supply fronts. You ask the men in cheap suits if you can transfer to a different department. You tell them you are tired. They look at you. They tell you there are no transfers. You work until you are no longer useful. You understand what happens when you are no longer useful. You cannot leave. You cannot run. They have your passport. They know where your mother lives. They know where your wife went. They monitor your daily movements. You sit back down in your chair. You look at the new kid. He is smiling at the screen. He does not know what he has become. You start typing. You are the grease in a broken engine. You are the friction that keeps a dying system moving. You route the money. You buy the bombs. You starve the innocent. You survive. This story is fiction, but shadow bankers are real. Drop a comment and subscribe.